Hello everyone, welcome to my class. In today's class I am going to cover the hyperbola. So let me start the class right away. First let me recall what we are doing in chapter 9. In chapter 9 we study the geometric shapes formed when a right circular cone is intersected by a plane. We investigate 4 sections of the cone by a plane called the conic sections. They are circle, ellipse, parabola, and hyperbola. In our last class, we covered circle and ellipse, and now we will study the hyperbola. So in the diagram here, when the plane cuts the both naps of the circular cone, then the cross section is a hyperbola. So now let's talk about equation of hyperbola. The equation of a hyperbola with a center at hk in the standard form is x minus h outside is square over a square minus y minus k outside is square over b square equals to 1, where h and k are center and a is the distance from center to vertex, and c is the distance from center to foci, and b square equals to c square minus a square. It's better to talk on the diagram below here. So the center is here. The hyperbolas are, these are the horizontal hyperbolas, turning left, turning right, and the focus are here, and this axis is the transverse axis, and this axis is the conjugate axis, and this dotted line are the asymptotes of the hyperbolas. So again, if the center is at origin, then simply put h equals to 0 and k equals to 0, then the equation of hyperbola reduces to x square over a square minus y square over b square equals 1. There are two shapes of hyperbolas, horizontal shape and vertical shape. So here in this diagram, this is the horizontal hyperbola. So if you flip this one, turning upwards and turning downwards, then that will be the vertical hyperbola. Next, key feature of the hyperbola. Here is the horizontal hyperbola. Center is at hk. Vertices are denoted by h plus minus a comma k. That's the vertex, one vertex here, another vertex is here. Transverse axis is y equals to k. So this line which passes through the center and vertex is the transverse axis. Conjugate axis is x equals to h, which is this line which is orthogonal to the transverse axis and passes through the center is the conjugate axis. Foci are at h plus minus c comma k. So here this is h plus c comma k, and this focus is at h minus c comma k. Similarly, the equation of asymptote, I'm talking now this dot lines here. The equations of asymptotes are y equals to plus minus b over a times x minus h plus k. Great. In general, the quadratic equation in two variables x and y, that is ax square plus bxy plus cy square plus dx plus ey plus f equals to 0, where a, b, c, d, e, and f, these are constant, where b equals to 0 and the coefficients a and c have opposite sign, represents a hyperbola. Quick recall the foci formula: c square equals to a square plus b square, and the coordinates of the foci are at h plus minus c comma k. Our comparison equations: equation of circle, 9x square plus 9y square equals to 144. Ellipse, 9x squared plus 16y squared equals to 144, and equation of hyperbola is 9x squared minus 16y squared equals to 144. So here the coefficient of x squared and y squared are the same in the equation of circle. In the equation of ellipse, the coefficient of x squared and coefficient of y squared are different, and we have a plus sign here. And in the equation of hyperbola, the coefficient of x squared and y squared are different and also have opposite sign. Awesome. Quick note: the transverse axis of hyperbola corresponds to the variable in the equation which has positive sign in front of it. The foci are not actually parts of the graph. So here's the foci. These are not the part of the graphs. Next, let me do some example. Now let's do example 1. Sketch the hyperbola. The equation is given to us: 9x squared minus 16y squared equals to 144. And also find and label the key features. Awesome. Now let's begin the solutions. Let's rewrite the given equation of hyperbola in standard form. So divide both sides by 144. Then 9 cancels 144 16 times. 16 cancels 144 9 times. And 144 divided by 144 is simply 1. So we have x squared over 4 squared minus y squared over 3 squared equals 1. So this is a horizontal hyperbola. Here a equals to 4, b equals to 3, and center is at origin. I hope this makes sense to you all. Next, let me scroll down. Maybe that's better. Yeah, that's better. So now, by formula, vertices are h plus minus a comma k. So h is 0, a is 4. So then vertices are at plus minus 4 comma 0. And in the diagram here, this is a vertex, this is a vertex. Similarly, transverse axis is y equals to k. Since k is 0, so y equals to 0. That's the x-axis. The transverse axis passes through the center and the vertices. Conjugate axis is x equals to h. Since h is 0, so x equals to 0, which is y-axis in this case. Next, asymptotes slopes. Slopes of asymptotes are m equals to plus minus b over a. So the slope is plus minus 3 over 4. Equation of asymptotes, by formula, y equals to plus minus b over a times x minus h plus k, turns out to be y equals to plus minus 3/4 x. So this line here, so y equals to 3/4 x, and this equals to y equals to negative 3/4 x. Now for the foci, let's use the foci formula. We know c square equals to a square plus b square. So c square equals to a is 4, b is 3. So a square is 4 square 16, b square is 3 square 9. So 16 plus 9 is 25. Hence c equals to 5. Hence the foci are at h plus minus c comma k, which turns out to be plus minus 5 comma 0. So here is a 5 0 and here is a minus 5 0. Awesome. So we answered this questions 1. We sketch the hyperbola as well as we find and label the key features of hyperbola. Great. Now let me move on. Let's do example 2. Sketch the hyperbola. The equation of hyperbola is 4 times x minus 2 outside is square minus 9 times y minus 1 outside is square equals 36. Also, find and label the key features of this hyperbola. Let's begin the solutions. Let's rewrite this equation of hyperbola in standard form. So divide both sides of this equation by 36, and 4 cancel 36 9 times, 9 cancel 36 4 times, and 36 divided by 36 is 1. which is on our right hand side. And here, since 9 is 3 square, 4 is 2 square. So now compare these equations to the equation of hyperbola, then we will get the center is at 2, 1. So this is h, this is k. So this is 2, 1. A is 3 and B is 2. Next, now let's compute the key features of the hyperbola. That's better. So here vertices, by formula, vertices are at h plus minus a comma k. H is 2, a is 3, k is 1. So here 2 plus minus 3 comma 1. This implies one vertex is at 5 comma 1 and another vertex is at negative 1 comma 1. So in the diagram here, this is the vertex and this is the vertex. Similarly, next, the transverse axis is y equals to k. Since k is 1, so the equation of transverse axis is y equals to 1. So that is this horizontal line here, which is parallel to the x-axis. Similarly, conjugate axis is x equals to h. H is 2. So the equation of conjugate axis is x equals to 2, which is this vertical line, x equals to 2, which is parallel to y-axis. Similarly, asymptotes slopes are plus minus 2/3, and the equation of asymptotes are y equals to, by this formula, plus minus 2/3 times x minus 2 plus 1, which are these lines. This is one asymptote, this is another asymptote. Similarly, for the foci, let's use this formula, c square equals to a square plus b square. So here a is 3, b is 2, so the c square turns out to be 3 square plus 2 square is 9 plus 4 is 13. Hence c equals to radical 13, which is approximately 3.6, and hence by the formula foci are at h plus minus c comma k, turns out to be 2 plus minus radical 13 comma 1, that is radical 13 is 3.6, so 2 plus 3.6 is 5.6 comma 1, which is somewhere here. And another focus is 2 minus 3.6 comma 1, that is about negative 1 point, which is somewhere here, 1.4 comma 1, somewhere here. Yeah, I hope this makes sense to you all. So we finished the hyperbola in today's class, and in next class we'll cover the parabola. Thank you.